Hey everyone. So if you live or do business in Washington state, you're going to want to listen up. Your wallet is about to feel some pretty big changes. Starting in 2026, the state is rolling out a massive tax overhaul, and we're here to break down exactly what's changing, who it's going to affect, and what it all means for you.
So the big question is, what's actually going to cost you more? Well, the short answer is a lot. Seriously, we're talking about everything from renting a car for a weekend trip to professional services you might use for work, and even things like nicotine products. So let's dig into why this is all happening.
Now, I know this can look like a really complicated tangle of new rules, but it actually all stems from one huge legislative package. And to really get it, we need to look at it in three parts. First, why it's happening. Second, how it targets big businesses. And third, how it's going to affect your wallet directly. Okay, so why all these changes and why now? Well, these new taxes and fees aren't just appearing out of thin air. They're a direct response to some pretty big financial hurdles the state needs to clear, and they need to do it fast.
The state is really trying to do three main things here. First, and this is the big one, they need to close a major budget shortfall. Second, they have to secure funding for all the government's operating costs. And third, and this is super important, they're trying to modernize the tax code. You see, the current system was built for an old-school goods-based economy, not the service and tech world we live in today. This whole plan is designed to bring in billions in new revenue to hit all these targets.
So where's all this new money going to come from? Well, the first part of the plan sets its sights on big business. This is where the state is expecting to pull in some of the most significant new revenue. Before we go any further, we need to get a key term down, the Business and Occupation Tax, or B&O tax. Now, this is really important. It's not a tax on profit. It's a tax on the total gross income a business brings in. Think of it like a tax on every single dollar that comes through the door before they pay for things like rent or salary. So the centerpiece of this business tax plan is a brand new surcharge aimed squarely at the biggest corporations. We're talking about companies pulling in over $250 million in taxable income just from their Washington operations. They'll have to pay an extra 0.5% on any income they make above that line. Now, it is temporary, it's set to run for 4 years, and it does have exemptions for some key industries, like manufacturing and grocery stores.
And let's just be really clear about what this number means. $250 million. This isn't targeting your local coffee shop, or even a successful regional business. This threshold is designed to capture revenue from the absolute giants of the economy. Think major tech companies, huge national retailers, and massive financial firms that have a huge presence in the state.
But that surcharge isn't the whole story. The regular B&O tax rates are also going up for other large companies. Specifically, we're looking at service-based businesses that earn over $5 million and also large financial institutions. It's really a multi-layered approach to get more tax revenue from the state's biggest economic players.
All right, so that covers the big business side of things. Now let's pivot to the part you'll probably feel a little more directly, the changes that are going to impact your everyday spending.
First up, renting a car. The state tax right now is 5.9%. Well, as of January 1st, 2026, get ready for this. That tax is going to practically double, jumping all the way to 11.9%. That's a huge increase that you will definitely notice on your next rental receipt.
And this chart really tells the story, doesn't it? Look at that spike. The tax rate basically doubles overnight, and while it does come down a little bit in 2027, it's still way higher than the old rate. All of this new cash, by the way, is specifically earmarked to help fund transportation projects around the state.
Okay, next, we're seeing a really fundamental change in how sales tax works. For the first time ever, Washington is going to start applying its retail sales tax to a whole bunch of professional services that used to be totally exempt. We're talking things like custom software development, IT support, even security and advertising services. This is a huge expansion of what sales tax actually covers.
And now for what is probably the most jaw-dropping number in this whole overhaul. The state is putting all nicotine products, and that includes synthetic ones like nicotine pouches, under the exact same tax umbrella as traditional tobacco. And that means a staggering 95% tax on the selling price. Yeah, for consumers, that's going to mean a massive price hike right at the counter.
And the list keeps going. Here's a quick rundown of some other increases. The sales tax on buying any motor vehicle is going up a bit. If you're buying a luxury car, there's a new 8% tax on any value over $100,000. Even the fee for plastic bags at checkout and your vehicle registration fees are all increasing.
Okay, I know, that was a lot of detail. So let's zoom out for a second and put it all together. What does this entire tax overhaul really mean for the big picture in Washington?
So, let's boil it all down. What are the key takeaways? Well, number one, for you, the consumer, the bottom line is that a whole range of goods and services are about to get more expensive. 2, for businesses, the tax load is shifting, especially for the biggest corporations and service-based companies. And 3, for the state itself, this is a multi-billion-dollar play to balance the budget and hopefully secure funding for years to come.
And that really brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? This is a massive, incredibly complex plan designed to fix a very real, very pressing budget problem. But will it be enough to put Washington's finances on solid ground for the long haul? Well, I suppose that's a question only time will answer.